Hey, good afternoon, folks. My name is Eric Ho. I'm in product management as a part of Informatica. So today I'll have the opportunity to talk to you about unleashing Salesforce data and 4 compelling solutions for achieving data-driven productivity. So when you take a look at it, I think most of us know that we're in the midst of a market disruption in data. So when you take a look at Data 1.0, what we consider Data 1.0 is from the 60s to the 2000s, in which data was used specifically in business applications, whether it be payroll or airline reservation systems. And what Informatica provided to customers was we created the leading ETL, extract, transform, load tool for customers to get data in and out of applications. Now, Data 2.0 is when data was used to support enterprise-wide business processes. And what we mean by that is like issue to resolution, quote to cash, supply chain management. What Informatica in turn provided were additional capabilities, cloud tools for data integration, data security, data archiving, master data management. All these tools provided customers and companies like yourselves to be more effective and efficient. Now what Data 3.0 is now data, the proliferation of data itself, is creating new business processes and new business models. So take a look at this. In 2020, these are some of the numbers that we're hearing from analysts. We're talking about an explosion of data volume, over 15.2 zettabytes in data volume traffic per year. So what the heck does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. It's a lot of zeros, 21 to be exact. So if you had to try to grasp what that means, if you were to try to stack together 128 gigabyte tablets, you'd reach from the Earth to the moon more than twice. That's a lot of data. Also, when you take a look at the number of new users, there's going to be over 325 million users. That's 5% growth in the population just over the next couple of years. Regarding new data types, 20 billion connected devices. So taking a look at the world's population at around 7 or 8 billion, we're talking about approximately 3 devices per person. And data in the cloud. When I first started Informatica over 2.5 years ago, a lot of folks, even some of the conservative companies, are already looking to get to the cloud. Folks who wanted to stay on-prem. So there's going to be over 92% of traffic in call centers and customer centers are going to be going through the cloud. Also regarding artificial intelligence as well as machine learning, 1 billion workers are going to be in some way, shape, or form assisted by this type of information. That's 1 in 3. So now, let's bring us back to why we're here today. You're here probably because Salesforce is at the center of your universe in some way, shape, or form. But even if your Salesforce is at the center of your universe and you're trying to move data to and from in between the applications, it itself is not a homogeneous application. It's acquired a lot of different products, whether it be for their analytics, their commerce, their marketing. In itself, data still needs to be moved back and forth between its applications. Moreover, most, if not all of the customers that we chat with have some type of legacy application, meaning it could be SAP, it could be Oracle, it could be PeopleSoft, it could be anything. And even if folks are moving directly to the cloud, there's still going to be other applications potentially beyond Salesforce. So what does that mean for you as customers? What it means is more clouds, more users, more data, and potentially more challenges, more problems, and more opportunities for us to potentially help in resolving. So take a look. Some of the side effects of an expanding Salesforce ecosystem. How can I easily import and export data out of and into Salesforce? How can I manage the customer data? So I was in the demo pods yesterday. The last couple of years, it's been primarily moving data to and from. This year, it seems to be, hey, now we have the data coming in. We are concerned about duplicates and consolidating and getting a single master golden record. And that's the next phase. And how can I monitor and assess and improve data quality? These are all questions that customers are having. So here's what we're going to do now. I'm going to launch into 3 demos over the next 10 or 12 minutes to show you some of the tools that Informatica has to help you be more successful. So our cloud solution, it's template-driven development. We have consolidated asset management as well as a powerful orchestration tool. So let's go straight into the demo. So right now I'm logged into a production instance of our Informatica Cloud capability. You can see in the dashboard, you can have a good understanding of the environment or the health of your cloud environment. You have your runtime agents up. I can take a look at my recent projects that I'm working on, my integration assets, as well as things I've recently worked on. As I mentioned earlier, even if you're working with Salesforce, specifically analytics, marketing, and sales and service, we have 3 separate connectors or connections that you can connect to different orgs. If you were to take a look at, well, I want to move data and combine data from Marketing Cloud or Sales Cloud and move it into Wave, let's take a look at how an asset may look like. So I've created a project or a folder called Dreamforce 2017. And here's our mapping designer. It's a nice visual user interface where you can take a look at the different transformation tools which are available on the left-hand side. And what it allows you as a customer to be able to do is pull data out of Salesforce, whether it be from Salesforce Sales and Service and Marketing, and then join it via an ID, an email, whatever the join condition that you may want, and then finally push the data into, at least for this particular example, Wave Analytics, right? So if you wanted to run this on a schedule, what you can do is determine how often you do want to run it. So by selecting a runtime environment and then proceeding on a schedule, the schedule can be doesn't repeat, hourly, whatever day of the week that you want. Very, very powerful in how you want to create and orchestrate your data integration tasks. Now here's something else that's new that's available for you as a customer, is that a lot of times data integration tasks are done serially. What we've provided the capability to do is try to really satisfy the data warehouse use case. And what we mean by that is a lot of data integration tasks can actually happen in parallel. You just need an orchestration tool to be able to make that happen. So what we're doing here is loading data, Salesforce accounts and customers, potentially into a staging area. And that staging area can be, SQL Server, it could be Oracle, it could be anything else before you finally load it into your data warehouse. And there's additional logic here that you can add as part of creating this orchestration tool or mapping to either stop it, check for success rows, end it, or potentially repeat the process. So once again, this is our cloud integration capability, Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services that we're offering. So here's what we just demonstrated. You've seen some of the screenshots. Another common side effect of an expanding Salesforce is how can I manage the customer data within Salesforce? So we have a product called Customer 360 that you can see a single complete customer view. You can cleanse and dedupe data as it's coming in at the point of entry, but also there's back-end processes that are actually run so that it can be done in the background. And you can also visualize a complex hierarchy which provides it a more business-centric view to you as the customer. So it's something beyond the Salesforce accounts and associations. So let's take a look at how this looks. So right now, I'm logged into a Salesforce org that's Lightning enabled. I'm logged in with a user as an admin or a data steward. I can see that I have duplicate accounts that are here, for example, for Dairy Queen. As I mentioned earlier, the capabilities are there's processes running in the background, yet at the same time, there are some instances which the fuzzy logic matching is not better than a data steward. So this calls for user intervention. So the user interface, which allows the data store to take a look at, oh, is this the right phone number? Is this the right address? And so on. It allows for the additional management of data, once again, after it's been input. The other thing is, we mentioned about a consolidated record. Once again, customers have said, oh, to create a marketing campaign, we're not sure who the right customer is. We're not sure what the right account is. Well, take a look at, for example, an account called Acme Brick. It just looks very much like a normal Salesforce org. Yet at the same time, what this org has is Customer 360. So it has some additional selections. So for example, for the consolidated view, what you can see is that, yes, this is a consolidated view of Acme Brick in Fort Worth, Texas. But the powerful part that you could see is take a look at all the data sources that Acme Brick is made up of. It's coming from SAP, Marketo, Dun & Bradstreet, maybe other marketing sources. And there's logic that you can configure within Customer 360 that determines accounts. Probably Salesforce is probably the best source of truth. For the address, maybe it's Dun & Bradstreet, and so on. So once again, very powerful to consolidate, to ensure that everyone in your organization has the right account record. Now, I just closed out of the consolidated view. Let's take a look at some of the details of this account. It looks very much like a Salesforce account still, but once again, there's some additional add-ons. So there's address and phone validation or email validation for a contact, which is really accessing our data as a service capabilities to verify that addresses, emails, and phone numbers are accurate. Green is good. So for example, if I were to update it and for some odd reason put an alphanumeric there and I do a check, it shows red. That's not good. So it's probably telling me to do some type of update to make it green again. And once again, there's still background processes that are validating whether this phone number works with all the other Acme Brick phone numbers that are in the system. The other thing that I mentioned earlier is that you can see your organization in the standard Salesforce fashion in which you can relate accounts to each other. Yet at the same time, you can select Dun & Bradstreet and you can see the org change. And once again, this is actually very helpful for some of the, obviously for the larger companies, but for companies that have done some M&A, mergers and acquisitions, this is also very helpful to keep track of what are the right accounts, how are they related, as well as the contacts. And since this is built on the Force.com platform, you can leverage dashboards, which are a Salesforce capability, to see analytically the things that we're discussing in cleansing the data. So remember I mentioned about the duplicate accounts earlier? Well, there's duplicate accounts, duplicate leads, and if you click this, you can view the report, and it's the same report that we showed earlier. And once again, you can take action on it if you wanted to. So that was the second demo. So we talked about Customer 360, deduping, visualizing a complex hierarchy, and a complete customer view. Now, what if you wanted something potentially even more, and potentially not with Salesforce data? How can you monitor and access and improve data quality? Well, we have a product called Informatica DQ Radar, which you'll visually be able to see the goodness of the data and then take action on it. So let's take a peek. So right now, I'm logged into an instance of DQ Radar. It's a very interactive user interface. As I adjust the time or the date range, you can see values changing. The good data or the correct values are in the dark blue. The total process records are in the lighter blue. These lollipops indicate significant events that are occurring. For example, hey, why is there a sudden addition of records? It's because of a Dreamforce conference. You can kind of see some of the issues. The website's not valid. The URL's not valid. And if you take a look at the bottom part, The objects which make up this graph happen to be account, contact, and lead. So if you deselect some of these objects, you can see the graph changing on the top. Obviously, if you deselect everything, there's nothing there. But let's just take a look, and we can see that the leads are the data quality issue. So when we drill into the lead, we see a similar type graph. Now it's specifically focused on leads, but you can see the data elements which are making up that lead object. We can see that, hey, there's probably an email problem here, and potentially a website title, and looks like there's some state issues. So as I deselect things, you saw that the object trend turned from orange to more green. So now if you wanted to, once again, you're monitoring the goodness of your data quality. If you wanted to fix it, you can show the fix options. And what it shows is some of the issues which are being encountered, and if you wanted to fix the data, must be that internet problem that we heard earlier. But once again, it'll show you the different issues that you may have. It could be the rationalization of, for example, circle should be just CIR. It could be spelled incorrectly. But what it'll do is our logic takes care of that and proposes the fix to you as the customer. So that's Data Quality Radar. So a couple more slides, probably just 2 or 3 more, but take a look at this. If you take nothing away from this discussion today, this is probably one of the most important slides, I don't want to say at this conference, but it's definitely in the slide deck. So Gartner is a third-party analyst. They take a look at all our different competitors or players in this space. The Y quadrant and X-axes and Y-axes are ability to execute and completeness of vision. Upper right is good. So I know it's an eye chart and difficult to see, but if you take a look at it, Informatica is in the upper right for completeness of vision and ability to execute for integration tools, master data management, metadata management, iPaaS, integration platform as a service. So if you're considering moving data to and from, if you're concerned about managing your data, you should probably at least take a look at Informatica. So a lot of times folks ask me how to describe it and what the heck do we do. I analogize it, hey, if the gold rush is equivalent to high tech, then Informatica is probably the best shovel maker around. So that you can probably take that away and probably remember that. And finally, here's just some of the customers that rely on Informatica. There's many. I'm sure we've left out a couple. And then, if you wanted to learn more about what we have to offer, there's a website that you can take a look at afterwards, or you can chat with me or several of my other teammates here that are alongside the stage.